The pigeons outside are going absolutely wild, but these are the cards I'm dealt, so I'll stick with it. I'd planned for this week's video to be on another narrow gauge locomotive running in a theme park, but considering this is a hot topic, I might as well chime in. Also, I'm going to present this video with the assumption you've either base knowledge of or have watched my video on the steam engines in the Efteling. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll make a card appear in the top right. On April 22nd, 2024, the Efteling, a theme park located in the southern part of the Netherlands, announced that they will be converting their 600mm steam locomotives to battery electric power. In the promotional video, Efteling does curiously not elaborate further on exactly how they're going to achieve this, but they ensure that the experience for guests will remain the same. I have plenty to say about that, but let's keep with it for now. I had to go to the park's website to discover more. The conversion will be carried out by Alan Keef Limited, who are the same firm that builds this locomotive, number 4, Treintje, in 1991. Number 4 is currently the only operational steam locomotive, and isn't all that popular amongst the crews. She rides roughly and has a difficult to clean ashpan, which means she's often out of traffic even as the sole running steam engine. Numbers 1 and 2, Aagje and Moortje respectively, are both out of traffic due to life-expired boilers. No wonder they are both over 100 years old. Efteling calls their decision an important step towards their ambitions to become a climate-neutral theme park, and they hope to become climate-positive in 2032. Now, this is the point in the conversation where any discussions about the climate become invariably fueled by people's political beliefs. Let me tell you right now, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I will look at it as someone with a further education degree in ecological research, and as someone who knows the bare minimum about steam trains. Something you might want to know about the current state of the Efteling is that they just received permission to expand the park. This is relevant because, as with any large-scale operation, the Efteling has a minimum permitted amount of emissions. Surpass this minimum and a hefty fine follows, not like that stops some people. Everything a company like Efteling does counts towards this emissions maximum. This includes building. And even in this older footage of mine, you can see that the Efteling has been doing a lot of building in recent years. And considering their new building permission for the expansion, you can be sure those plans will eat away at the emissions maximum. In my professional opinion, rule out the conversion of the steam trains having to do with the expansion, one can simply not. People were quick to point out the whataboutism coming from people who oppose the conversion, as if either hypothetical parties have a say in the matter. Whataboutism is indeed a slippery slope, but at a base level, in fairness to the conversation, Efteling has not commented on what they're going to do about the other steam-operated attraction in the park, the steam carousel. What Efteling did tell was that they will not change the look of the actual engines. Their outline will remain the same, but they will be driven by different means, electricity. Alan Keef are no stranger to building steam outline machines, even if the ones they do make are not my cup of tea. One must wonder how they will achieve the Efteling conversions. If the loco will be driven by the tender pushing the locomotive along, sort of like a giant Trackmaster loco, or the Casey Jr. ride at Disney World, it should be a straightforward conversion. If they want to fit at least some of the electro gear in the locomotive's water tank or in the boiler, I must say I don't see how that is any maintenance friendlier than how dodgy number 4 is right now. What I struggle to understand though is that number 2 is undergoing repairs to make her at least operational for the summer season. I can only wonder why the Efteling doesn't just cut their losses with number 1 and 2 and go straight to the battery conversion. If they were so reluctant to reboiler number 1 but now suddenly want to carry out equivalent work on number 2, it can hardly be attributed to a money question in my eyes. Why an alternative steam outline locomotive by such manufacturers as Chance Rides wasn't opted for baffles me with that context. Something which did annoy every single steam fan was the Efteling's claim that the experience would remain the same. Now, if you're watching this channel, I see no reason as to why you wouldn't like steam engines, but it doesn't take much to understand that that claim is blatantly misleading. A steam engine is more than just smoke coming out the chimney and the occasional hooting at a crossing. A steam engine breathes even when standing still. It hisses, it sings, it thumps. All things you cannot only hear but feel rather than see. Not to mention the smell of steam oil and a coal fire. If Efteling think they can replicate all that by just having a smoke generator in the chimney and an MP3 of chuffing with the occasional whistle, they are sorely mistaken. But perhaps what I dread the most is the conversions failing. Be it structural instability or just a good old-fashioned explosion, a conversion of this nature carries with it big risks. I dread to think what will happen to the locomotives if they are declared unsuitable for service. After all, Efteling is no stranger to consigning their running locos to history. Hiya folks, I must admit that was a significantly downer ending. Truth is, I started writing this script not all too happy about the news. The fact that Efteling used real steam engines was one of the things that made the park unique. They didn't want to settle for anything fake. But the longer I kept writing, the more I realised no umbrage in the world would make Efteling change their mind. The dice cast Alan Keef is already involved. And when push comes to shove, steam enthusiasts won't pay for all the bills. The drivers might all be lovers of steam, as they've told me whenever I struck up conversation with one. But passion doesn't mean much if the park wants to truly get with the times. And oh boy, with that line alone, I look forward to moderating the comment section for this one. But hey, maybe if the conversion does fail, they will be reconverted into proper steam engines. Hutswell Clark locomotive Fiji over on the Statfold Barn Railway has proven that to be possible. Perhaps this video can only serve for myself, as a way to fondly remember what has been, after steam has vanished. I'm no John Betjeman, no Alan Pegler, no executive. Well, that just made me more sad. Can we end on a funny note? What was that? The soundtrack for the locomotive installed speaker was leaked? Alright, play that then.